What's good, everybody, man? Welcome back to the family. Welcome back to the channel. And if you're new, man, welcome back for the first time. Yeah. Now, smack the sub button, hit the bell, and let me get a picture. Welcome to the family. Don't be looking at the weird hat. I know it's lovely, and you probably want one yourself. Let's talk about it. Leave something in the snap. Now, what I got for y'all today, it's some more family request content. Shout out to my amazing family. That's you, and you. You already know what time it is, man, for always coming through for the family with the requests. That's how it works, man. You have something that you think is going to be dope for the family. It doesn't have to be comedy. It can be music, anything. It really can be anything that YouTube allows. And, yeah. If I haven't seen it, I'll check it out with the family. And we can have a laugh together, a cry together, a meal together. You get that. You get the point. But yeah, man, this right here, definitely a funny guy, man. I love watching his content, man. Very funny guy. John Mulaney at the UCB basketball and hooks for hands. You know, these balls? Let's get into it, man. See what he's talking about. Y'all look good,
I
man.
am very emotional about, I will also be talking about the game of basketball. I'm very emotional about this, and I'm a little high on Dayquil. So if I am rambling, please forgive me. But it's funny timing that this came up.
Did John Mulaney just say he was on that, sir? Nah, I'm just playing.
Up now because we just got through with March Madness, which I hate because I always get like roped into a pool, you know, and I don't understand what's happening anymore. It's like those big water bottles where you're supposed to give to the homeless. Like, I don't know where the money's going, but like I want to look cool, so I give like a little bit. And then people hand me this bracket. And I'm supposed to like know what that means. It's basically when like the NCAA thing happens, people are basically doing like, hey, do you want to be confused for a month? And I'm like, yeah, can I pretend to be a man? That sounds good.
Damn! I didn't even know they look at it like that, bro. Yeah, can I pretend to be a man? Yeah, that sounds cool. Wow. Damn.
Gonzaga, that's a weird name. I'll choose them. I've become one of those people who hate sports, and I've become one. I wasn't always, and I dislike that, but I do have problems with sports because it's supposed to be this like leisurely activity, but now there's like post-game shows and so much money and bureaucracy, and it's like someone took something that you're supposed to use to blow off steam, and they were like, hey, let's add some steam to it. But I didn't always. Like I liked sports when I was younger. I loved basketball when I was very small. I grew up in Chicago in the late 80s and early 90s. Basketball was kind of a big deal. And I loved it.
He said what?
Small. I grew up in Chicago in the late 80s and early 90s. Basketball was kind of a big deal back then. And I loved it, and then was terrible at it. And living in Chicago back then and being bad at basketball would be like living in Baltimore now and being bad at heroin. Like it was
Damn! Wow, he took the gloves off. Wow.
But you have to understand, building up, I started playing when I was 9 years old. Building up to 9 years old, I was a huge Chicago Bulls fan. My dad would get tickets often, so we would go to the games, my brother and my dad and I, and we would sit up in the first balcony and next to these three guys that we called fat, and skinny. One was fat, and another was fat, and the other guy was skinny. Okay. And it was just, they were exactly like the super fans. They all had mustaches, and they would drink and chain smoke through the game. And whenever we played the Cleveland Cavaliers, they would just chant, "Lamb beer sucks! Lamb beer sucks!" throughout the entire game. And it was wonderful. And we would go up to the hot dog concession, and there was a guy that worked at the concession at Chicago Stadium, and he had hook hands. He had hooks for hands. And my dad would always use him to put life in perspective. He didn't have, when I say hooks, he didn't have hooks like Captain Hook's hooks, which are sharp. These were like two bent paper clips that he could use to grasp things, in this case hot dogs. And we would walk up there and we would get our order, we'd order, and we'd walk away and we'd have them, and then my dad would walk with us away from the concession. And it got to a point where like we could time it, like my older brother, we'd walk away and my brother would go 3, 2, 1, and my dad would go, boy, that makes you think, huh? Huh? You see that? See that? He's got hook hands, you got two proper ones. Which bothered me, because like that guy's whole life was in hooks, you know? Like he had other things about him. It wasn't like he woke up every morning and was like, hooks for hands, hooks for would just sort of shoot and bounce the ball off the wall and have fun with it. And more often than not, I would just take photos of myself in front of the hoop, holding the ball like that. And my brother and I had disposable cameras, and we'd take photos of ourselves holding the ball. And then, because I wanted to look like a professional basketball player, I would go into the kitchen and I would wet down the sides of my hair. And I would try and sweat like a grown-up by, like, I'd pour a cup of water on my t-shirt.
Talk about going the extra mile, bro.
And I'd sweat like in a V, and it looked like I'd been playing basketball. So there's all these photos of me from when I'm like 5 and 6 years old, standing there with a basketball, sweating like an older divorced man. Just like a huge streak.
Yeah, I can imagine how crazy that looked.
And then when I was 9, I went to St. Clement Grammar School in Chicago, and everyone played basketball, and I had to play, and I was excited to play because I thought I was going to be good. And that's the problem. It's like in my head, I'm good at sports. Like my brain is good at sports. You know, and my brain understands how a man could dribble down a basketball court and then make a layup.
Yeah.
Right? But then my brain has to outsource the job.
Yo, that's the first time I heard of it looking like that, bro. He said the outsource the job to the legs.
Face down with a bloody leg. And I went in there
That's horrible.
to the first practices.
That was funny.
And people were good. And I didn't know how they became good because I wasn't good yet, but they were suddenly good. And I thought I was going to be good from the get-go. You don't understand. Like, I always had a big ego. Even when I was a baby, I would say, ooh, I'm real soft and fun and I look great, you know? So I always thought highly of myself. So I was sitting there like, what the fuck is going on? I'm not good at this. And it developed to a point that I slowly realized by like 5th and 6th grade, I was like, I am a bench warmer. Like, I am a bench warmer. Yeah, it's sad. I mean,
somebody said, oh, he said, yeah, it's sad.
I don't know if you can understand, like, the humiliation of every Saturday morning putting on a pair of breakaway pants and never having a reason to break them away.
Yeah, that's horrible, bro.
Then they're just pants.
That's horrible, bro, yeah.
So I had to,
Damn.
I had to do other
I feel
things.
his pain. Look at him.
I still, like, I followed the game. I closely watched. Like, I still remember all the plays: the 2-1-2 defense, 2-3 defense.
He would have been a
motion
beast.
offense, diamond press. That was when.
I mean, think of how good he would have been. Should he know the whole playbook? As a grown man now, from 9 years old.
When you press is when you play defense over the half-court line. Is that right? Yes. Yes. And we'd have a game annually where we'd play the girls, and we had this tiny Japanese ref that worked at our school, and he would scream, "No press to girls! No press to girls!" And we would press to girls. I got to 7th and 8th grade, and this was like, I remember even hearing my mom talk about it. She's like, 5th and 6th grade, it's fun, but by 7th and 8th grade, we expect the kids to win. And I was like, holy shit. I got to 7th and 8th grade, and the coaches were these two guys who I loved. Coach Kane, who was the head coach, and then Mr. Toohey. He didn't go by Coach. He went by Mr. Toohey.
Hey, don't call me that.
Who was an old ex-Marine and like freelance Chicago journalist, who I think was just a drinking buddy of Coach Kane.
He gave him a job.
And one day he was just like, by the way, y'all know the assistant coach here, Mr. Toohey. Like, Mr. Toohey. And Mr. Toohey smelled like cough syrup. And it wasn't until I myself was in a rehab thing, and his doctor was like, and a lot of alcoholics mask they're drinking with cough syrup. I was like, holy shit, Mr. Toohey. And they were wonderful, and I loved the team and loved being a part of it, and I took on outside responsibilities like John besides playing. So I would keep track of the uniforms. That was one of mine. And so when we started 7th grade, I, like Michael Jordan, wanted to be number 23. So I gave myself number 23. And then I was told
I feel you.
in front of the entire team that I couldn't be number 23.
Hey, yo, you can't be. Yo, that's cold, bro.
Because I was the worst player on the team.
Oh, wow.
And I was supposed to go to the best player on the team. But what I argued was that, why don't you give it to me? Then they'll think I'm the best player on the team. But this doesn't really check out, because it's not like you would be like, oh, hey, they're down by 20 and they still haven't put in More often than not, I mean, I didn't play in the games ever, really. I'd play in practices though, and like what I do was if I messed up when I airballed, when I got fouled horribly, I would just I'd act like a mental patient, you know? Like if I airballed or something, I'd be like, so they would be like, oh, this guy's not bad at basketball, he's just playing crazy. You gotta keep an eye out.
Hey, yo, my boy said his reflex for when he fuck up was to go into that type of mode, bro. Yo, John, you're a rare one, man. We ain't seen nothing like you, bro. You're definitely rare. Let's go.
I was also the scorekeeper too, and this led to one of my favorite instances from basketball. Is that, as I said, we went to a Catholic school, and so we would play other Catholic schools. Those were the divisions we were in. However, as some sort of expand your horizons type program, we would go play 3 Jewish schools every year. Hillel Torah, Shiamet, and Solomon Schechter, okay?
Wow. Listen, I know that y'all want to hear the rest of that story, and I do too, but you're going to have to watch the original in the bottom, man. I'm saving some for originality for some of the videos, man, because that's just paying homage to the creators themselves. But definitely, man, this is an old school one right here by John Mulaney. It's still at least 12 minutes, about 12 minutes video right there. So you can check that out, man. I thought it was dope. I definitely want to check it out more, but I'm going to give you guys a chance to go check it out without me, as much as that's going to hurt my feelings, okay? It is. Go ahead and check the link in the bottom, man. Make sure if you're new, smack the sub button and hit the bell. Join the family, man. We don't always cut the videos short like this, but I do want to give the creators at UCB the opportunity to have some of the traffic come over there. So, yeah, man. You get a chance, you want to see the rest of it, go check it out. The original's in the bottom. Now, let me know what you thought about this, man. This is I don't know when, judging by the camera, it looks like a while ago. No disrespect to the people who shot it. Maybe it was just bad lighting. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, let me know, man. If you got something for me that you think is going to be hilarious or great for the family, leave it in the bottom. Let's check it out together. But yeah, it is the worst part of the video. Part where I got to go to get some more family content coming your way real soon. Smack the sub button and hit the bell if you haven't done so already. Family, I love you guys. I love you girls. You already know that. But I'll see y'all soon. Next video on this one.
Niggas hating on the kid, I guess it's cause I'm vicious. Rolling up in something new and taking all the bitches. How you get your car that tone, that shit is so prestigious. I would compliment your shit, but I would really mean it. Niggas hating on the kid, I guess it's cause I'm vicious.